Hello, welcome. This is my first ever Screencastify recording, and I'm waiting for my presentation to load. Emily and I spent a lot of time putting this together, and it's just, I'm sure you've been bombarded with all kinds of resources and websites, and there's definitely not a lacking of resources. Hopefully, this presentation, what it does is just kind of helps all of us wrap our mind around how to go about doing this distance online learning, and hopefully just some practical tips. And we also have some submissions from teachers, things that they've created that we put links to. Everything is linked many different ways, many different places. But if you still need more access, please reach out. But here we go. So I'm doing this with Screencastify. This is something that you can do as well. And we have a link to a video tutorial. It's free, and it's a really great resource. So here we go. Really like this quote, stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start being excited about all the things that could go right. Yes, this is crazy time, never done this before. Rather than dwelling on what about this and what about that and what about those students who aren't going to do it, let's really think about those students who are going to just love this, adore this opportunity, and all of the teaching that we have always wanted time for and feel really passionate, but we never get time to do that, to teach that. Let's do it now. So here's hopefully we can get to that really exciting teaching here now that you can really do whatever you want. Okay, so the first thing, this comes from, we were in a meeting with Mr. McCormick, and he actually is the one that shared this. So, and I think that this really puts together the expectation of how much you were expected to be teaching. So as far as the National Board for Teaching Standards for Homeschool, the idea is that they won't be in class for more than 3 to 4 hours a day. And that's actually varying more on the side of 3 hours than 4 hours. So if you think about it, if we're only expecting them to work about 3 hours a day and they have 6 to 7 classes, we're really only thinking about maybe providing them with 20 to 30 minutes worth of work a day. Now, of course, if they choose to do all of their work in like 2 hours in one day and then they're free the rest of the week, or every day doing a little bit at a time, that's up to them because every family is different and their situation calls for different time schedules. But really, if you're trying to think about planning your lessons, think about what activities, what learning can happen in smaller chunks of about 20 to 30 minutes. So not the 50 something minute class that you're used to teaching. So let's talk about lesson planning and organization. How do I assign the work for my students? How do I organize what I'm doing? So here's an idea that I had seen on Instagram, and then I tagged Miss Presser on it, and she went with it, and she's the one that created this amazing document, and she made it for herself. But if you would like a copy of it, if you click on this link here, it will take you to this, and of course you would put in your own information. But here's a document that you could share with your students that gives them all of your contact information, how you're going to organize your class, what they're expected to do on a daily, and what they're expected to do on a weekly. So you can let all of them know that, and then you can then attach this to an Aries communication and share this with your parents so that they can kind of get an idea of how it is that you're going to be organizing your class from now until June. Here's another great tip. This was made by Miss Campbell. A roll call or kind of like a check-in. So she made a Google form, and you can click on here and you can make a copy of it and make it yourself. Just a way to check in. This could be maybe perhaps how you take attendance. Just a quick first name, last name, how are you feeling, and maybe a funny question of some sort. And that would be great for checking in with your students. More kind of check-in ideas. This I stole from a gal on Twitter. Twitter has become my new obsession. There's so many free, great ideas. Teachers just sharing all kinds of things. If you're not on Twitter, get on there because it's really great stuff. So if you were to click on this link, for example, it would take you to this girl's teacher's website, and she's got all of these links are active things that you can do. And she's even got a tutorial on how to make copies of any of her Google Forms So really, really great stuff. So please, throughout the presentation, click on the links. It all leads you to more things that you can use, share, and manipulate. So that kind of made my computer freak out a little bit. Here, there was a, this is when technology goes bad. There is a graphic here that's missing. There it is. So a lot of teachers are worried about, oh, how am I going to assign them? Or do I really need to assign them things every single day? Or do I need to be on my computer every single day? I think you need to do, and Dr. McCarrick, I hope you agree with this. I think you need to do what's best for you and best for your family. We're still expected to work and teach, but how you do that, how you organize yourself depends on you. One idea that I thought I really liked it, if I was teaching, I would be doing it this way. What if you kind of made all of your assignments into a bundle, a weekly bundle, almost like a digital packet, and you give them small things to do throughout the week. And so that way on your Google Classroom, you only assign once a week rather than every single day. That might be overwhelming for the students, for the parents, and even for yourself. But if you put together kind of a week's worth of, again, 20 to 30 minutes worth of activities, whether it's something they watch, something they read, something they do, something they interact with. And then on Friday or whatever day of the week you choose, they kind of turn it all in, or maybe those smaller practicing assignments then lead to a larger project that would be the thing that you actually grade or give credit for. And we'll talk about grading and credit later. But maybe perhaps just giving them kind of things to interact and practice and really develop the learning. But the thing that you're actually going to grade comes at the end, kind of like project-based learning. So here was an idea. And then on this page here, this is manipulatable. You can make a copy of this and use it yourself. Maybe you want to organize yourself as far as days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then just post kind of your links here, what they're going to do each day of the week. Or if your mind kind of gravitates more towards, on one day they're going to check out this link, another day they're going to learn, they're going to maybe have a link to a graphic organizer that you've created. Maybe the next day they'll work on vocab or some kind of concept that you're introducing. Maybe the next day they'll apply that learning. Maybe they'll make slides or a video presentation. And then lastly, maybe they'll reflect. Maybe you'll make some kind of exit ticket or a Google form or some kind of quiz to see or assess whether or not that learning has happened. So again, I've made a version that you can copy, you can use, you can change it up as you wish. And this could be what you post on your Google Classroom once a week. That way, rather than posting every single day their assignments. These next few slides I copied from another gal that was on a meeting that we had with Mr. McCormick. Again, she's huge on Twitter. If you'll see her name, you can follow her. Don't know how to say her last name, 71. You can follow her. But again, here's some examples of how you can organize your week. So this would be for our math folks, but again, actually anybody could use, like for example, Khan Academy. Anybody can use Khan Academy, both English and math teachers. Quizzes, anybody could use quizzes to create quizzes and fun games to assess student learning. All of these links work as well. So if you to click on any of them, they'll take you to that site. For English, writing, all kinds of writing things for my English teachers. We've done actually a lot of these in our PLNs when we meet with Ray. So a lot of like these emoji power paragraph, we've done a lot of these together, so they shouldn't be super unfamiliar. History, again, same thing, same kinds. We're seeing a lot of quizzes, Flipgrid. So same kind of platforms, learning platforms can be used for all of the subjects. Science. So anyways, that's kind of, hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can organize your teaching, your lesson planning, how you can, rather than assigning something every single day and flooding their Google Classroom with assignments, maybe do it once a week and give them a bundle of activities. Office hours with students. How do you want to communicate directly with your students? So we've kind of been a little bit scared about Zoom bombing. I know one of our teachers had a interesting situation happen, and we'll talk about how to enable safety precautions so that doesn't happen. Um, this schedule here, Dr. McCarrick, well, you guys voted on it, and Dr. McCarrick put it together. This is really a schedule if you are planning to do live classes where students are meeting live with you, kind of like how we've been doing our Zoom chats with our departments, then please follow this schedule. That way, if I'm a student and I want to be in, I don't know, Mr. Vincent's chemistry class, but I also have Miss Palmer's class, and you guys are both doing a live session, it's going to be really difficult for the student to attend both. But if you are doing live sessions, please do it on this according to this schedule so that students are able to attend all of their live classes. But again, this is not a requirement. You do not have to go live at any time. It's not a requirement. It's not an expectation. But if you would like to, please adhere to the schedule. Please look at this in depth. I'm not going to read all this to you, but there's lots of links here, ways to answer student questions. Again, you do not have to hold a live Zoom class or Google Meet to answer their questions. You can make a Google form. Down here, there's a link to just a normal Google Doc where they type in their question and you type your response. And it's easy. You can use Flipgrid. Please visit this this document that the teacher Tex and Ms. Vasquez put together. If you click here, it'll give you this link to this amazing document where it has video tutorials and links to probably most of the most useful learning platforms that you might want to use for your class. So please definitely check this out, bookmark it, because you'll probably want to see it a lot. And those classes those trainings that we did with Mr. Winter and Ms. Casillas and Mr. Mendoza, all of those links to those recorded sessions are on here. So if you want to watch them again, as you start practicing all this stuff, it's all right here. Please click on this link. Again, a simple Google Doc to record questions from students, response from the teacher. Everybody in your class will be able to see this document. If you post this document on Google Classroom, you can kind of keep track of what students are asking. Again, the link for this document is here. Aries communication. Aries communication, like we were saying, the day that we unknowingly found out that would be our last day, but we all made sure that everybody was able to log into their Aries communication. This would mostly be used for communication with parents. Our students are probably going to rely mostly in communicating with you the way they have been with Remind and Google Classroom. Most of our students are not in the habit, it's unfortunate, but they're not in the habit of checking their school emails. And that's where most of this communication is going to go. But they are in the habit of checking their Google Classroom and Remind if you use it. So probably for the student communication, rely on Google Classroom, but for communication with parents, letting them know what your Google Classroom code is, what your expectations are, that's when you would want to use Aries communication. If you click on this link, there's a tutorial in case you forgot how to use it. Click on this link and there's a tutorial to show you how to use it. For Zoom, this is 10 ways, this graphic shows 10 ways to make sure that you are safe. If you click on this link here at the top, it's again another tutorial that it's screenshots step by step, what to click on to make sure that you don't get bombed and some inappropriate image is flashed during your meeting. So if you follow these steps, you will be great, you will be fine. Again, a video. Rather than doing a live Zoom meeting, you might want to use Screencastify, which is exactly what I'm using to do this right now. We have free time to use it. If you put in this code, you can use Screencastify, the unlimited version. I don't know until what date, but if you put in this code, we can use it for free and unlimited. And then Zoom, again, if you do Zoom, that's great, awesome, fantastic, but just keep in mind that Zoom becomes a virtual classroom, and to protect your safety and that of the students, try to avoid being in a Zoom chat where it's one-on-one with a student. Just like you wouldn't want to be in a classroom one-on-one in a physical space, you wouldn't want to do that because they could, they could be behind them recording with a phone, and who knows what they do with that. So if possible, invite a parent or make sure there's at least 2 students, but don't be alone with a student in the chat. And thank you to Ms. Randzinski. She made a code of conduct, so kind of behaviors and expectations and rules on how to engage in this digital type of way to learning. So click here and you will have that. Grading. A lot of us have questions about grading, especially right at this moment where grades are due tomorrow. How do I put this into the grade book, and how do I actually get them to want to work? Emily made a fantastic video. Please click here. It's about 10 minutes and it explains how you can either kind of put things in the gradebook for extra credit or do the NA or TX where it takes the place of the score, and it technically shouldn't affect their grade, but it still kind of does. Watch that video and you decide how you want to do your grading in the gradebook. Here, again, Emily put this together. She is explaining it to her students in this way, what the scores mean, what NA means, and what TX means. And how do I get them to want to do the work? So I don't think that it's a good idea to lie to our students or put up a farce that you have to do it because they're going to find out that this is not going to affect their grade, and their grades can only improve. So what kinds of things could you tell them to incentivize that, hey, but you should do it? So kind of 3 things that I would tell my students is, what we're doing now is prepping for next year. And even if you're a senior, what we're going to be doing now is life skills. And these are things that you should know how to do and feel comfortable with so that you can function as an adult. And for the grades underneath seniors, we're just going to be really working on those essential standards to make you successful for next year. Another thing you can tell them is learning is fun. I mean, now you can really just try anything, do all of the work, try out new things, try the project. And if you fail, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your grade. Be fearless. This is the ideal situation of learning where we're really just doing it for the learning and not for the grade. So even you as a teacher, what makes you passionate about your subject, and teach them that, because it's not going to hurt them. It's only going to help them. And finally, tell them, what else do you have going on? I mean, you're stuck in your house. You should be anyways. Beat the boredom. Do this because you're tired of watching Netflix. As an admin team, we kind of came up with this together. Really, we're trying to build up that mental toughness. We're also kind of stuck in our house and getting a little bit crazy. Practice that Mustang mentality. Share this graphic with your students, put it on your Google Classroom. There's a video link here that you can put on your Google Classroom as well that kind of shows, it's a cool video that we put together featuring pictures from our very own yearbook students. Thank you, Mrs. Presser. And that talks about that Mustang mentality and staying focused even though the world outside is a little uncertain right now. Virtual lesson ideas. So one idea is TED Talks. Here's a graphic organizer that you can use, and click on here and you can manipulate this and use it however you want. More ideas to come. And if you have ideas that that you're doing, please share it with us so we can add it to the slide deck so that all the teachers have access to it. I see office hours. What if you need more help after this next week? This is kind of what our schedule looks like. Feel free to pop into our office, our virtual office, at any time during these times. And then after next week, this will be our free kind of office hours. And then after that, by appointment only. We're going to be using a software. We're not quite sure yet what it is or how it's going to look like, but watch out for your emails and you can book us for a 30-minute time slot if you need help. So that way we're not bombarded with emails from all teachers wanting help at the same time. You can also contact our teacher texts. Ms. Casillas will definitely be filling this out, and you can reach out to her, and you can reach out to any of them if you have more specific tech questions. Please reach out to either Casillas, Winter, or Mendoza, and they are great, fabulous. And if they don't know the answer, they will connect you to someone who does. That's basically it. I know that was probably super long. I don't know how long that was, but thank you for tuning in, for watching this. Thank you for your grace and allowing me to try Screencastify for my first time. And I hope I pass on the challenge to you to try something new and share it with your students and see how it goes. So God bless, stay safe, and we'll be in touch. I got to figure out how to stop this. Okay, adios.